Man, she looked me dead in my face and she said, how many women are you talking to right now? And she ain't had no smile on her face when she said it neither. She was dead serious, man. You know when somebody asks you a question, but the question don't really feel like a question. It feel more like an interrogation or feel like you sitting across from the district attorney. That's how she asked me. Now, I know most of y'all men, y'all gonna do one of three things. You either gonna lie, you either gonna get in your feelings and get defensive, or you gonna start explaining yourself like you trying to apply for the position to be her boyfriend on the first damn date. That's what you gonna do. And listen, all three of those responses, they can either make you look guilty, nervous, or it can make you look desperate even when you ain't done nothing wrong. But for me, what I did, I sat there for a second and I looked at her right in her eyes and I told her the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. I said, I am talking to a few different women, nothing serious. I'm not exclusive with nobody. What about you? How about you? That was it. I didn't apologize. I didn't give her no 20-minute breakdown of what I had going on. Nothing, none of that. And what I for damn sure didn't do, I didn't lie. I didn't come in saying, oh, I ain't talking to nobody but you, because I only been sitting at the table with her for 45 minutes on the first date. How are you already the only woman in my life and I don't even know what kind of tipper you are yet? But this episode, it ain't just about one question or one date. This episode is about what happens when somebody puts pressure on you and they start watching how you respond to the pressure that they put on you. Because women, they gonna ask questions. They gonna challenge things. And then after they challenge it, they gonna see how you change and fold up under pressure. But here's where every man get confused. Every difficult moment is not an automatic test. Sometimes she genuinely just trying to understand who you are as a person. Sometimes she trying to protect herself because of something that she done experienced before you. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes she probably is disrespecting you, but she only disrespecting you to see how much you gonna tolerate. And your job is not to sit there to try to memorize some magical lines and stuff like that. Your job is to stay calm enough to recognize which one of those things that you're dealing with. So today, I'm breaking down the 3 responses that make men fumble these situations and what I did differently and how you can remain honest without becoming defensive, weak, or disrespectful. Because the goal ain't to control her reaction. The goal is to control yourself. And by the end of this episode, I'm going to give you a simple way to handle almost every uncomfortable question without lying, begging, arguing, or losing your goddamn mind. But before we get into this, I need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to subscribe if y'all ain't subscribed to the channel yet, because we about to have these conversations that men have behind closed doors. We about to talk about money, relationships, discipline, and becoming a stronger man in real life. And I need y'all to share this episode with a man that you might know that keep letting pressure make the decisions for him. All right? Now let me tell y'all exactly how this date went down. We about to get into the dates. Now, the night, of course, it started off regular, a nice little restaurant, good energy. The conversation was flowing. She smelled good. She looked even better. Everything, it just felt natural. We wasn't sitting there trying to force, small talk, talking about the weather and nothing like that. Nah, we was laughing, we was joking, we was talking about business, family, relationship goals, all of the stuff that you try to talk about on the first date, trying to pick somebody's brain to just make sure they ain't just a pretty face. But then the energy, it kind of shifted a little bit. It wasn't like no dramatic movie scene type switch. It was subtle. She leaned back a little bit. She looked at me and she asked, how many women are you talking to right now? Now, that question itself, it wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't. She had every single right to ask that question, just like I had every right to answer the question honestly, or I could have just told her, hey, babe, it's too early for that conversation. See, the pressure came from knowing that my answer might change how she saw me. And that's where a lot of men mess up. That's where a lot of y'all mess up. We stop answering from the truth, and we start trying to manufacture what we want the person reaction to be. We don't stop and ask ourselves what's honest. We ask what answer will keep her interested. And see, that's how you abandon yourself right there at the table. See, you so worried about whether she gonna approve of what you say, you start auditioning. And once you start auditioning, she no longer meets the real you. She meeting your character that you done created right there on the spot. That's who she meeting. And that character, it might work for one night, but sooner or later, the real you, yeah, it's gonna show up. And now you gotta explain why the man that she met and the man that's standing in front of her are two different people. And see, I had to learn that the hard way, because it's done been some times in my life when I done said things that I thought the other person wanted to hear because I didn't want to lose the opportunity with that person. But every time that you do that, you don't secure the opportunity. You just delay the truth. That's all that you do. So before we talk about the right response, let's talk about the 3 ways that men usually fumble. Let's talk about that. The first response is getting defensive. The first response is talking about getting defensive. That's what we're going to talk about. You know, man be like, well, why you ask me that? Or why do it even matter? We ain't together. We ain't in no relationship. Now listen, all 3 statements, they might technically be true, but listen to the energy behind that though. It sounds like the question struck a nerve. And when you react like that, the conversation, it ain't even about how many women you dating no more. Now she watching how irritated you became when she asked you something that was uncomfortable. See, some men think aggression makes them look strong, but it don't. It don't make you look strong. If one direct question can make you lose control of your tone, that's not strength. That just means that somebody else can press one button and they start to operate you like a remote control, man. Being calm does not mean that you soft. It just means that your emotions belong to you. You can set a boundary without turning a dinner date into an argument. If you don't want to answer the question, you can just simply say, hey, listen, I don't understand why you asking me that, but I think that it'll probably be more appropriate to have this conversation if we start moving towards something a little bit more serious. See, that's a boundary. But why the hell you asking me that? That's a reaction. And so you got to learn the difference between the two. Now we're going to move into wrong response number 2, and that's lying to look safe. The second response is lying, man. Lying. Oh, nah, I'm not talking to nobody. You the only woman that I'm interested in. Or I deleted everybody's number soon as you accepted the date. Come on, Nick. Come on, man. You know her appetizer order before you even know what her middle name is. And now you ready to shut down your whole dating life? Come on, man. Come on. The problem ain't that she might catch you in a lie. The bigger problem is why you felt like you even needed to lie in the first place. You decided that the truth about your life wasn't attractive enough, so you replaced it with something that you thought might look safer. That's what you did, but a lie told to gain somebody else's approval, it's still a lie, man. It's still a lie. And let me be clear, because I'm not telling men to date 5 different women just so you can brag about having options. If you're not talking to nobody, then just say that you're not talking to nobody. If you're talking to one person, say that you're talking to one person. If you dating nobody exclusively, say that. The power is not in the numbers. It's not in the number. The power is being able to be comfortable enough to tell the truth without decorating it. You feel me? But if you are dating somebody in an exclusive relationship, this is where the whole conversation changes, because now you're not just keeping your options open, you breaking an agreement. See, confidence does not cancel out accountability. Now let's move into wrong response number 3, over explaining. The third response is where a lot of smart men fall into this trap, over explaining. They be like, well, I'm technically talking to a few people, but it's not really like that. One of them, they live out of town. The other one barely texts me back. And then the other one, she's just a friend. But honestly, I think I like you more than I like all of them. My nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, now you presenting exhibit A through F and ain't nobody even charged you with a crime. What are you doing? You are over explaining. And overly explaining usually means that you're trying to control how the other person receives the truth. You're not giving information no more. You begging them not to judge you. That's what you're doing. Say what's true, give enough context, be clear, and be quiet. Silence feels uncomfortable when you insecure because you start imagining every possible thought that's happening in the other person's head. Let them think, man. Be quiet and let them think. You don't have to chase your own words around the room and make sure everybody like your words. You don't have to do that. Now, what I said and why it worked. So when she asked me how many women that I was talking to, I paused for a second. And it wasn't none of them fake pauses, no dramatic pause to try to make me look mysterious or nothing like that. I just took a second so that I could respond instead of react. And then I said, I talked to a few women, nothing serious. I'm not exclusive with nobody. What about you? I said it calm, honest, and I didn't have no attitude. And asking her that question, when I asked her that question, I wasn't trying to be slick or pull no trick to try to flip the pressure back on her. It was a fair question. If we both trying to understand what the other person got going on, then the conversation, it got to be a two-way street. It got to go both ways. And her posture, it changed, not in a bad way. She got relaxed because I didn't become defensive when she asked me the question. I didn't, and I also didn't sell her no fairy tale. I didn't act ashamed of being single because I was single. She answered my question, and guess what? The conversation, it kept moving. It kept moving. And see, that's the part that a lot of men miss. They miss that part. See, you think passing the test means delivering some type of perfect line that's gonna make the woman become instantly obsessed with you. But no, that's not the case. See, sometimes winning the conversation, sometimes winning is when the conversation stays honest. Sometimes winning means that you discover that she doesn't like your answer and the two of y'all was never compatible in the first place. That's still a win. It's still a win because the goal of dating is not to try to convince every attractive person to choose you. The goal is to find whether or not the truth about both of y'all can even exist in the same relationship. Hold on. Listen, if the truth makes her leave, then a lie gonna make her leave just a little bit later. Now let's talk about what she actually looking for. When somebody asks you an uncomfortable question, it's usually three different things that could be happening when they ask you these questions. The first one is curiosity. She probably want information. She might like you and she want to know whether you're emotionally available or not, whether you sleeping with other people or whether it's room for y'all to grow into something real. And that's not game. That's not game. That's just an adult trying to make an informed decision. Now the second one is reassurance. Reassurance. Maybe she went through some type of betrayal before. Maybe something about the situation made her uncertain. She ain't asking because she want to dominate you. She's just trying to determine whether she feels safe or comfortable continuing with the situation. See, you can respect where the question comes from without making promises that you ain't earned yet. You can say, listen, I understand why you would want to ask me that question. I'm not exclusive with nobody, but if that do changes, I do believe in having direct communication and conversation. Now that's reassurance without pretending that you can guarantee the future. Now the third possibility could damn well be control. This is where the question ain't really about information, because no answer is ever going to be good enough, because the person wants to have you on defense. They want to invade your privacy, or they want to make you continue to continuously prove yourself over and over. Your answer could be honest, but they going to always think that you lying. See, you can show them your phone, and once you show them your phone, they going to want to see your password. And once you get on the password, they going to want to know, well, hey, why you liking this person picture from 2022? And at that point, you are not building trust. All you doing is feeding suspicion. And my nigga, suspicion has an unlimited appetite. So you got to be careful. That's when calm needs to be paired with a boundary. I'll answer your questions, but I'm not about to keep defending myself against accusations with no evidence. That sentence right there, it might end your date. But if it ends your date, good. Every date is not meant to turn into a relationship. It's not. Now I want to talk about the ex conversation. Her ex conversation. Here's the moment that a lot of men, they often mishandle this right here. If she start telling you, hey, my ex used to cheat on me, so I got a hard time trusting men. Listen, most men, they going to immediately jump and they going to say, hey, listen, I never do you like that. I'm not like him. It sounds sweet. It's cute. It's cool. But think about it. Think about it. You barely know this woman. You barely know her. And now you already making lifelong promises because you want credit for not being her ex. You don't need to compete with a man who ain't sitting down at the table with y'all. You don't need to do that. A better response is, hey, I understand why that will make you guarded. I can't prove who I am in one date, but you can watch how I show up consistently. That's real. That's real. See, trust is not created because you announce that you're trustworthy. Anybody can make a speech. Anybody can do that. See, trust is built when your words and your behavior keep matching after the excitement don't wear off, man. And men need to apply that same standard to women too. You got to apply that to women. Don't ignore everything that you see just because she says that she's different. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to consistency. That she communicate clearly. That she respect your time. That's a big one. Do she respect your time? That she take accountability whenever she wrong? Does her behavior match the person that she described herself to be? Because a lot of these women will say one thing but act a totally different way. Listen, you're not the only person that's being evaluated. Dating is two people paying attention, not one person performing while the other person is holding up scoreboard cards, man. It's a two-way street. Now, let me stop right here. Because I know somebody watching this, they done fumbled one of these conversations before. I know. And the reason I know, because I have too. Now, you probably thought of the perfect answers and all of that 2 hours later while you driving home and you having a conversation with yourself. That's normal. It's normal to do. But listen, the goal is not to become some type of emotionalist robot who always gotta have the perfect answer. The goal is to become the more honest and the more disciplined person every time that pressure starts to show up where you weak. So if this conversation is helping you right now, hit the subscribe button if you ain't subscribed yet. Go ahead and subscribe. Share this episode with somebody that you know that need to stop auditioning for women and need to start showing up as himself. That's what I need you to do right now. Now, let's get back into the other situations, because the question at this dinner is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. Let's talk about when she cancels a date. Let's talk about that. If she cancels a date at the last minute. See, some men, they immediately start chasing the woman. They start texting, hey, are you mad at me? Did I do something? When can I see you? And then you got other men that try to punish the woman for canceling a date last minute. They leave on red for 3 days. They start posting other women on Instagram, or they start sending passive aggressive messages about how nobody respects their time. Both responses show that the cancellation, it took control of you. And here's the balance. This the balanced response right here. This the response that you should make. Hey, no problem. Let me know whenever you're available to reschedule. Then just go live your life, homie. Go live your life. But pay attention to what happens next. If she reaches back out with a specific day and time, cool. Things happen. But if she keep counseling, if she stay vague, or if she expects you to do all of the work, stop calling that shit a test. That's no longer a test. That is information. She may not be interested. She might be disorganized. She might like the attention more than she actually like you. You don't gotta diagnose her. You don't have to diagnose her. You just need to decide whether that behavior works for you. And if it worked for you, cool. Calm does not mean waiting around forever, though. It don't mean waiting around forever. You can be understanding once, and you can still have your standards. All right, now we're gonna talk about when she start comparing you to other men, because that's a big red flag. Now, let's bring it up. Let's bring up a scenario. She might be like, hey, my ex used to take me out the country. Or the guy at my job, he drives a better car. Or my friend's husband bought her a Birkin bag. First of all, congratulations to all of them. Salute to them. But what exactly does that have to do with me? And the worst thing that you can do is start competing with a stranger. Well, I make more money than him. My car paid off. I could buy you a bag if I wanted to. Come on, man. Now, she is giving you a financial presentation because she mentioned somebody else. You don't need to prove that you better than every single man that she done ever met. But you can ask direct questions. Hey, are you telling me this because that's what you value, or are you comparing me to him? That brings the conversation into the open, into the forefront. Maybe, just maybe, she trying to communicate that she like to travel, but she just not communicating it well. Or maybe she uses the comparison to keep men insecure and to keep them competing for her approval. See, one thing can be corrected with communication, and then the other one just gonna exhaust you. Don't perform to get clarity. Don't do that, man. Now let's talk about when her energy changes. Then you have a silence situation. Her texts, they start to get shorter. Her energy is changing. Something just feel off. And the anxious man, they gonna ask, what's wrong 15 times? And she gonna say nothing. Then he gonna say, I know something is wrong. And she gonna say, hey, nah, I'm fine. I'm good. Now he gonna start sending paragraphs, apologizing for things that he ain't even know he did. See, you can check in once. Check in once. Hey, your energy, it feel a little different. If something bothering you, I'm open to talking about it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. After that, give her room to communicate like an adult. You are not responsible for dragging somebody's feelings out of them. That's not your responsibility. At the same time, don't use I'm unbothered as an excuse to become emotionally unavailable. Don't do that, because some men, y'all hear advice about staying calm and then you turn into a brick wall. That's what you do. See, they think caring makes them weak, but it don't. It don't. You can care without panicking. You can ask without begging. You can listen without accepting blame for every single thing. If she needs a moment, give her that moment. Give it to her. If she uses silence to punish you for every time, for every time that she doesn't get her way, then that shit not healthy communication. That's manipulation. Again, I say you gotta notice the pattern. One bad day is human, but a repeated strategy, that's character. Now, let's talk about when the test becomes disrespect. This is the part that nobody ever explains enough. Being composed does not mean letting somebody disrespect you to prove that you secure. if she insults you, if she embarrasses you in public, if she flirt with another man in your face, or if she go through your phone without your permission, or if she deliberately tries to make you jealous, you do not need no clever comeback or none of that, man. You need a boundary. That's what you need. You tell her, hey, man, listen, I'm not comfortable with the shit that you doing. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life talk to me like that. And if that behavior continues, I'm leaving. And if the behavior continues, leave. The boundary is not a sentence. The boundary not a sentence. The boundary is what you gonna do after the sentence get ignored. Too many men make threats and they don't have no intention of enforcing it, man. See, then every time that pattern happens, it just become a speech. And after a while, your words don't mean nothing because you done taught that person that it's no consequence behind your words. You don't have to yell. You don't have to yell at all. You don't have to call out a name. None of that, man. You don't have to win no arguments. All you have to do is just remove yourself from whatever violates your standards. That's all you got to do. Now, that's composure with a backbone right there. Now, let's talk about why men really fumble these type of moments. The real reason why they fumble these moments, the real reason why men struggle is not because they don't know the correct line. It's because they terrified of losing the woman. Maybe she beautiful. Maybe she beautiful. Maybe it's been a long time since somebody done showed them attention, or maybe they done already imagined this relationship before the first date was even over. So every uncomfortable question, it feels like the entire opportunity is about to disappear. Listen, when you fear losing somebody that you barely know, you're going to always negotiate with yourself. You're going to always negotiate with yourself. You're going to lie. You're going to ignore all of the disrespect. You're going to make promises that you're not even ready to deliver on. You're going to accept any situation that makes you miserable, all because you chose feelings over being respected. And see, that's a real problem. That's a huge problem. You built your value around her reaction. The solution is not pretending that you don't care about nobody. The solution is building a life that don't collapse when one person don't choose you. Because your work matters. Your health matters. Your children, your family, your purpose, your friendships, your standards, and your peace all matters. When your whole identity is empty, attention is going to start to feel like oxygen. But when your life has substance, attention is something that you can appreciate without becoming addicted to it. That's when you stop trying to pass every single test that a woman put out there for you, when you start to determine whether the connection is right for both of y'all. That's what you do, man. You got to determine it. Now, I'm about to give y'all a practical reset that I want y'all to remember the next time that pressure hit. All right, step one, I need you to pause. You don't owe nobody an instant emotional reaction. Take a breath, slow your voice down, give yourself enough time to separate what happened from what you're afraid of. Step two, tell the truth. Don't give the impressive answer. Don't give the safe answer. Give the honest answer. If you don't know, then say you don't know. If you made a mistake, own it. Own the mistake. If you disagree, then say that you disagree respectfully. Step three, set the boundary if one needs to be set. Not every question requires a boundary, but disrespect, invasion of privacy, manipulation, and repeated inconsistency requires boundaries. State what you will and what you won't accept without making a speech, man. Step four, watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. And see, this is the part that most men, they skip. Don't just listen to what she says after the conversation. Watch the patterns afterwards. Does the communication improve? Does she respect the boundary? Can she take accountability? Do you feel like the two of y'all are getting clearer, or are y'all consistently being pulled into confusion every which way? The response after the boundary tells you more than the original problem. I need you to pause, truth, boundary, observe. That's the reset. You don't need 20 pickup lines. You need emotional control, honest communication, and enough self-respect to walk away when a situation don't fit your life no more. That's simple. That is simple, man. Looking back at that question that the female asked me on that date, it wasn't the problem. It was an opportunity. It gave both of us a chance to be honest about where we stood. And that right there is what dating is supposed to do. It should reveal compatibility, not force it. Somebody asking you a difficult question does not make them your enemy. But somebody repeatedly disrespecting you does not become acceptable just because you scared the relationship won't work. You got to know the difference. You don't have to lie to keep somebody interested. You don't have to, man. You don't have to become angry to prove that you strong. You don't have to over-explain to make truth easier for somebody to swallow. Because, just listen, man, you always got to tell the truth. Stay composed, hold your standards, let the other person decide what they want to deal with. If they want to deal with the real you, because rejection of the real you is still better than acceptance of a character that you can't continue to keep playing. Now, this right here, this your challenge. The next time a question makes you feel pressure, don't answer the question from fear. Pause for 5 seconds. Pause for 5 seconds and ask yourself, am I telling the truth or am I trying to control this person's reaction? That one question can save you from a lot of lies, arguments, and relationships that you never was even meant to enter into in the first place. And listen, if this episode gave you some type of realness, man, go ahead and subscribe, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the above, man. And remember, the hustle never, ever stops, but it can always reset right here with your boy, Mike Bandz. Appreciate y'all.